Good evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Tyla J. Palace. I'm going to ask him a few questions about his up-and-coming tour with the Dogs D'Amour and about his album Quinquaginta that's out at the moment, and just a few other things. So we're just going to have a nice old chat here. And hi, welcome, Tyla. So first of all, you're just about to embark on a tour starting at the end of November with you're going to Sheffield and a few other places around the UK.
Sheffield Corporation, yep. Then going into December, 4th at London Islington Academy, O2 upstairs, not supporting Joe Satriani, who's playing downstairs. So I hope they got some good soundproofing. Then we're up Oxford on the 8th, all academies by the way. Then I think we're at Liverpool, Newcastle and Birmingham, 8, 9, 10, 11. Nice weekend, nice round trip and then back home.
And you're looking forward to the tour?
Yeah, of course.
And basically the tour is going to be promoting the latest album, Quinquaginta, which you recorded and released this year. Tell us about Quinquaginta.
Collection of songs that are right.
What does the title mean?
It means 50 in Latin, because I'm 50. Picked a bunch of songs I did, been writing over the last 5 or 6 years really. Some of them are on Bloody Hellfire as acoustics, and then I sort of did them with drums with Simon and wrote some new ones in England.
Would you say they were kind of a collection of songs that were in any way reflective? They've kind of turned a sort of milestone. I mean, a lot of people probably thought you weren't going to reach 50 a few years ago. You know, your lifestyle did not really promote longevity. Would you agree?
I never really thought about it. Being it's just what you do. It's like you don't. It's not like watching. I don't know, like a Formula One driver or someone doing the Wall of Death. I mean, all we're doing is like playing guitar and having a drink. You know what I mean? It's not like Scarface where we're sitting with big piles of coke every night, putting your fist in it. Like it's that's all. I don't know. It's myths. Or people are just like they went through. Let's go as mad as we can, and then you come out the other side and you just have a bit of an hangover, and then you think, well, all right, I've done that. What do I do now?
So you're more of a kind of live day by day man than thinking so far into the future. Will I be here because of what I'm doing? You just kind of take each day as it comes. Would you say? Yeah,
I always have done really. But then I don't go mad as a bastard as most people think I do all the time.
That's all legend, is it?
I wouldn't say it was legend. It happened, but it isn't. You know, if something happened once, it happens. If something happens once and you've got a video of it, you know, 1 million people watch it. It's happened 1 million times, hasn't it? You know what I mean? Because people just keep watching it or reliving it and thinking, oh, he did this, he did that, he did that, he did that, and that's it. That's all he did.
And the myth becomes larger.
Yeah.
And the other album that's just come out is in the Dynamite Saloon, an anniversary edition of that.
Well, I re-recorded it.
You re-recorded
for the anniversary, and again, I was trying to get Warner Brothers to actually release all the Chinese Years records, but they won't even talk to me. I don't know. Must have upset someone, as usual. And so I thought, well, there's all these songs that sit in there doing nothing. They're not on iTunes. Everyone who's got them, you got them. But for me, it's not doing me any good. I'm not making any money off the ones on eBay. Nothing, no royalties, no nothing, because it was such a bad deal that nothing comes from them. You know what I mean? Only when we play live, or if it gets played on the radio, which is called PRS and MCPS, Mechanical Copyright Protection Society and Performing Rights Society. But if I want to make any money out of the hard copy, I have to re-record them, like a zillion other artists who suddenly go, wow, we can do that and make some money. Yeah, of course you can.
Squeeze just recently did something similar, did they not?
Squeeze re-recorded all their hits on Spot the Difference, and they went to such meticulous, whatever the word is, that they like got their real
manoeuvres
in the dark. That they got all the equipment that they used and basically asked people to see if they could spot the difference. I mean, what I could have done was I could have re-released done the same with Dynamite Jet Saloon and just re-release the original and go and spot the difference and put two together.
But surely, you know, with your years of experience and listening to an album from quite a long time ago now, if you don't mind me saying, you probably want to add your own touch on there. You know, you don't want it to sound exactly the same. You must have listened to the album so many times, or you know.
Well, no, I didn't,
and
because I can't. I'd like to see. I can't sit down and listen to a lot of the Dog stuff because it just was. We were rushed in. It was just written something. It wasn't right, and you know, I can't sit down and listen to Dynamite Jet Saloon, the original, and go, that's great.
No, you can't.
No,
Why's
I
that?
can't. I don't know. It's just. It's me in it. I don't know if it's vanity. I know a lot of people can. They listen to stuff. Oh, how could you redo? How come it never rains? You know, I love that. But I'm like, well, you've got that version. I've done it for me. You know what I mean? And a couple of thousand people that want to have a listen to it now. That's as simple as it is, really. I thought I could sing it better the way I am now. So
Yes.
I've had another go. If people think that it sounds better in '88, then
They have the choice.
there you go.
It's
That's
freedom of
yours.
choice.
I ain't bending anyone's arm to go and buy me stuff. You know what I mean?
And that was a sponsorship album, so the fans had the opportunity to sponsor the album. They got to put they got the name on the CD, didn't they? Artwork and all sorts of goodies.
And on the vinyl, they got their
You found
names.
you got quite a lot of support from that, didn't you? A lot of people wanted to be involved with the project.
Yeah, and like we had to miss people off because obviously you've got to stop it at cut-off point at some point. But there's quite a few over that. Unfortunately, even people I missed off.
And you've got
names.
plans to do now a Graveyard of Empty Bottles. You're just on the verge of doing that and recording that in this winter, basically.
Yeah.
ASAP. As soon as you
I'm
come off
into it.
tour, you're in the studio, and again, is it going to be? You're going to have the same tracks. Going to have anything extra? What's going to be the difference on this new version?
Again, like with Dynamite, I'm playing it as if I'd written the songs now. You know what I mean? And it's like. So let me think. Take my time instead of going right. You've got 8 days in the studio. Now you've just written them, but get in there, you know, and having to deal with everything I dealt with in the initial recordings of the Graveyard, which was like half the band not wanting to do it because it was like acoustic, you know, and it's like, oh bloody hell, and no one really understanding what was going on inside my head because most of the time I don't half, you know. So I just wanted to think, okay, I've written this song now, Errol Flynn, and how would I approach it now, 30 odd years later than when I'd written it, you know. And I like the way I'm doing it. Them was then, now is now, and you know.
And I mean, obviously, you're always going to have to face some kind of criticism with that. People will think, you know.
I got criticism
back
then with it, you know, with all the stuff.
Just you doing it. Everybody wants to see, you know, on tour now you've got a new lineup. People still seem to harp on about the lineup that went on, with Steve, Bam and Joe and you, and they see that as a classic Dogs lineup. Although, when did you form as a band? 83, was it?
Yeah, went through a few lineups, had people in and out.
How many members again in the Dogs Tomorrow have you had in total?
About 300. I would say.
But there seems to be this kind of thing where there's certain fans hanging on to this classic lineup. Yes. I don't blame them. Good years, good times had by all. You're all still talking, I take it?
Yeah.
Kind of had your on and off years, but at the moment, you know, I mean, did you not recently buy a guitar from Steve and Bam you speak to?
I bunged a few quid his way, yeah.
Yeah, so that all seems fairly
amicable. It was out of tune when I got it as well.
Okay. So
I spoke to Joe about the Dynamite Jet Saloon and my re-recording, and he was like really interested in the way I'd approached it. You know, I'd taken off saxophones and stuff like that, and written new guitar lines for like "Wait Until I'm Dead," for instance.
So you feel you've got support from everybody? Anybody
It's
offered
fine,
to
no.
sort of come along and help you, or do you think they've all got their own lives now, doing other things?
I know that they've got their own lives, and I think we're better off not sort of doing things musically, because it used to all revolve around everyone shouting at each other and you know, it was all about money.
It was.
You know, and the lack of it, and the lack of support, and it's like it's sort of snowballed into a big thing. I mean, you know, at the height of our fame, the Dogs D'Amore only sold about 50,000 records worldwide, not in a territory, worldwide, which is absolutely, you know, on par with Guns N' Roses selling I don't know. I think they were up in the 10 millions or something, even more. I know they're over 30 or something now. But when they were selling, when the Choir Boys were selling 1 million records,
Right.
we were selling 25,000. That's a big bloody difference.
So you think a lot of people really don't have a clue on the figures and things, the actual
No,
real thing?
they don't.
And now with the Choir Boys, I know they're out and about.
Yeah, I said despite, I said, does anyone keep coming up to you and going, why is only you and Griff in the...
so-called
where's
original
Guy?
lineup?
Where's Nigel Mogg? Where's... I can't remember the name of the drummer. And then the keyboard player, curly hair. And he's going, no.
Do you think they know who the original lineup was?
I don't know. What do you think Spike knows who the original lineup was?
That's what I meant. Bless him. But he doesn't seem to have the same thing. Possibly it's because of all four of you, what is it? I didn't realise it was kind of some kind of X Factor rock band. I didn't think the Dogs D'Amour were like everybody could vote in. The fans, they ring up and they say who they want to be in the band. They surely should be able to be in the crowd, appreciating the fact that the main dog's there, Tyla, playing. I mean, these guys that you've got now, you've got a good a lot of people behind you, haven't you? You've got Timo and Dave and Gary. And
I mean, half of me wants to think that if I ever die, that they'll all get together and do the Dogs D'Amour with another singer, and then they can have all the grief I've been having.
You don't see that happening before you die?
What, them getting together and being the Dogs D'Amour?
All of you getting together.
Like I said, we've just all grown apart. It's a long time since it's 20 odd years, it's like... You ask Lemmy, he's like, would you get back with Fast Eddie Clark and Filthy Phil and be exactly as you were in 1979? Could you do that? It's like, no, you don't.
Different people, aren't you? Different people.
You grow apart, you do different things, and you have different hobbies. Whereas then, we were all young, we all had the same little goal that we're going for.
That's fame and fortune.
Well, probably fortune and fame, really, I'd say.
So... what's next then? You're going to do a few more dates next year.
I was going to do a tea.
You're going to do a few more dates next year, hopefully, and maybe some solo acoustic stuff going on.
I suppose we'll always be doing something. It's like
You've got a book coming out, have you not? And also an audio book is one of the things that's offered. You've never done an audio book before, and I think that's going to be particularly interesting. You've got a lot of poetry and stories and that kind of thing, and you might put a bit of music on there. Is that right? And illustrations.
Well, I probably won't have any music on it because then it end up like a bloody album. But
I guess so.
It'll just be me telling the stories from my book and completely probably going off on tangents and tandems and everything. So the thing is, you'll have to buy the book as well, because it'll be a different story in the book to the one I'm going to tell when I
Well, we look forward
speak
to it. And we look forward to seeing you all in the audience. And thank you very much for your time, Tyla. Any last words?
No. I've got to go. I'll miss my bus.
So, it's good night from us in London. Thanks very much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.